Once a year, the national spotlight shines on Division III football as two teams survive a grueling playoff gauntlet to make the journey to Salem. But this year, that all changes. Before the Amos Alonzo Stag Bowl, Division III sends its stars to Salem Stadium. The inaugural Senior Football Classic features players you aren't as familiar with, each hoping to get one more shot at a football future to follow in the footsteps of former D3 stars like the Redskins' London Fletcher, the Bills' Fred Jackson, and the Colts' Pierre Garçon. One game, one last chance for college football glory.
Good afternoon and welcome to Salem, Virginia. Coming up, it's the D3 Senior Classic. It's the best and brightest that Division III football has to offer. Great to have you with us, everybody, along with Mike Stevens. I'm Greg Roberts, and Mike, when you talk Division III football, we're going to see some of the best and brightest that Division III has to offer, but also a lot of guys are very passionate about the game of football.
Very passionate. Kind of like us. How'd they get us in the same room? That's what I want to know. Hey, getting back to this Division III thing, Greg, they play the game for the love of it. A lot of these guys have driven, paid their expenses to get here, some coming as far away as the Dakotas, an 18-hour drive. Of course, that means the parents have followed them here, and there are a couple that are here for reasons other than the love of the game, because they have some NFL talent, and there's some scouts here to check them out.
Well, obviously, in any all-star affair, that's exactly. They're trying to show the best of their game. And, Mike, when you're talking about Division III football, I don't think people realize it's really not that far of a jump from Division III to get yourself into the professional game.
Certainly not anymore, Greg, and that's why NFL scouts are here. We've got some guys that have put up some amazing numbers for any level of competition. And speaking of the NFL, believe it or not, both of the head coaches today, Rich Cody and Gus Ornstein, have NFL experience, so that should be fun as well.
Well, this is the inaugural event, so I'm advising everybody kind of buckle up and hold on tight. It's the first time for everyone, but it's going to be a lot of fun. When we come back, we'll get it kicked off. It's the Division III Senior Classic. Stay with us. Welcome back into Salem Stadium. We are ready to get the Division III Senior Classic underway. Hey, it's been snowing all morning here in Southwest Virginia, but the snow, it's kind of slowed up here a little bit. The temperatures are in the upper 30s. It's absolutely perfect for some football. It will be the North in white, kicking to the South in red, and back deep for the South. The return men are Corey Stewart. He's wearing jersey number 2 out of Hanover College, and also deep to return for the South, Chad Woodfork, a defensive back out of Otterbein College in Ohio. And there's the run-up and the kick, and we are underway, my friends. Bit of a short kick, going to be fielded right there at about the 15, and that is Stewart working to the left. He's got a nice return going, still on his feet, dancing around, and finally the North is going to grab him and drop him right across the 35-yard line. So, Mr. Stevens, we are officially underway. Here it is, and I know there's been a lot of hard work, and as we progress here through the course of the broadcast, we're going to bring in the founders of the Senior Classic, George St. Lawrence and Peter St. Lawrence, and you've already had a chance to spend some time with those guys. Pretty interesting fellas, huh?
They are, Greg, and I think it's been a great effort from the start just to get this game here to this point. The fact that it's actually kicked off and is now getting ready for its first play from scrimmage is amazing when you consider that the concept was born only a few short months ago in September. So they want to really have a good first D3 Classic, and the hope is that if things go well enough with this game, they'll be able to make this an annual event.
It's going to be the South with the first possession here, Mike, and their quarterback is Aaron Fanthorpe, and we've heard a lot about Mr. Fanthorpe. He's from North Central College in Illinois. On the first snap there, we had the flags come back deep from the defensive secondary. Let's see what the officials saw here.
I'm not so sure that Fanthorpe may not be the best player skill-wise in this entire classic. There are a lot of folks that, think he has a chance to do something really big from now on out, even in the pro levels.
All right, the officials wave the flag off, and we're ready for some football here in snowy Salem. Shotgun snap, Fanthorpe, he's going to roll it right side. He's got a receiver out there. Let's see if they rule it a catch. It is a catch, and it is in bounds across midfield and down to the 38-yard line. Well, the first play is a good one. It's Fanthorpe hooks up with George Eager on a deep out route, and that's a 24-yard completion, and the South, just like that, is on the move.
Well, they start out with a pass, but I was kind of hoping they'd go with the run because nothing runs like a deer, Greg, and that's what we saw out here earlier when we got these lines plowed clear so you could see it. Hey, it was a lot of snow out here when these guys first came out for pregame warm-ups. The folks here at Salem Stadium, Scott Sampson in particular, did a great job of getting everything cleared up on the field turf.
Fanthorpe under center. He's going to turn and give it to his tailback and running straight ahead. And that's big Claude O'Connor, and he's got nowhere to go there as the North defense just stuffs him right at about the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of 1, but not much, Mike.
No, not much at all. I think what you're going to see in an all-star game, and this is usually the case because they really only had a couple of days to prepare, is the defense is going to dominate early, and there are some really good defensive players, big dudes on that front line that are going to make an impact early.
It's going to be 2nd and long here for the South, and back to the shotgun. 2 receivers split left, and he wants to throw it. Scrambles out of the pocket. Plenty of time. Now here comes the pressure, and Fanthorpe is going to slide in across the 40 down at about the 39. So that's more negative yardage. The South behind the chains here after a nice 24-yard completion on the first play. All of a sudden, the North defense getting tough.
Well, as we said, they're going to be the ones that have the advantage early. But Fanthorpe, I would not rule out the possibility, even on this opening drive, of him hitting something big. Greg, this guy put up some phenomenal numbers, and in his final game as a regular season player, 7 touchdowns over 500 yards, so he can get it done.
That's absolutely amazing. Looking to get it done here on 3rd down and a long 10. And once again out of the shotgun and with an arm like that, but it's a give straight ahead. A little power football there from the South, and running hard is Desmond Mays. Desmond obviously short of the first down marker. And this is where you kind of get into no man's land right here. The ball's going to be spotted down at the 32-yard line. And for the South, head coach Rich Cody, what do you want to do here? You want to go ahead and kick that field goal, or you want to try to pick up what's remaining here? It's going to be 4 yards for a first down.
Well, I think you got to go for this thing. I mean, we saw the kickers out here earlier, and some of them were hitting from maybe about 7-8 yards in from here. But at this point, you're just a little risky.
All right, so he keeps the offense on the field. 4th and 4 here for the South. Fanthorpe and Mays in the backfield with him. Little roll to the right. He's got a man wide open, and that's going to be good enough. Diving for the first down marker, and I think that's going to be a first down. It's another completion. That's the 2nd catch of the afternoon to George Eager, and it keeps the drive alive.
Well, Fanthorpe, again, I mean, he's showing right there why folks talk so highly of him. Just nice rollout, kept his feet on the slick turf, really kept his composure and didn't overthrow that. That's a touch pass, Greg. That's an easy one to throw just a little too hard. And give the receiver some credit, too, for knowing where he was to be able to keep himself in bounds and get that first down.
The conditions aren't exactly perfect. We've got ice and snow and a mist coming down, more snow in the forecast.
Well, the funny thing is, the North guys came out here in their shirt sleeves, and the South guys came out and took a look at the weather and said, we're going back inside. Oh, we got a pick, Greg.
Interception. The Fanthorpe pass picked off by John Peters. He's a stud linebacker there for the North. And just like that, the momentum swings. North returning it across midfield, and that ball's across the 40 down to the 37-yard line. All right, when we come back, we'll see what the North can do on offense. Stay with us. So our first turnover of the ball game goes to the North. And here's another look. This ball's going to be tipped and picked, Mike, and it pops up right into the hands of the linebacker there, John Peters.
Well, I think that he just led his receiver a little too much, and Peters, the right guy at the right time at the right spot, and there's really no reason not to think that he wouldn't be there, Greg, because this guy is a finalist for the Gallardi Award. the best Division III football player in America, and he's got a chance to win that, and he showed why right there.
And the North on their first play, they handed off to Jared Chun, Mike. And everyone has told us to keep an eye on Jared Chun out of Keene University in New Jersey. They say he's a good one.
Well, I think Chun has a chance, too, to get a couple of looks here. He's one of those guys that can run around a 4.5 40. Really good speed. He's a super running back for his size. Just 5'9", but 173 pounds. Runs low to the ground and really has a lot of good power.
Chun with a gain of 1, so it's going to bring up 2nd down and 9. North to throw it down the seam, and it's intercepted. Picked off inside the 15-yard line, and on the return, it's Andreas Platt with the big interception for the South. And how about that? Tit for tat. The South says, hey, you pick us off, we'll come right back, pick you off. And that ball, Mike, he had his man open. You saw it out in the flat. Chad Woodford was, check that. You saw Jimmy Simmelsberger was open, but the ball was just overthrown and right into the hands of the defensive back. Mike, take another look.
Well, Greg, I think, as we said, and I hate to beat a dead horse here, but defense is going to be ahead, and especially in the passing game. Protection, not that great, and then you just overshoot the receiver who's not in the right place. And Andreas Platt, he's got a decent pedigree, even though he played at Greensboro. Nothing against Greensboro, but he also began his career at Duke, so he knows how to get it done.
Second offensive possession here for the South in red, and they're going to give it to the man in motion, and that's Gennaro Zangarai. And Zangarai's going to try the left side. He's going to push it ahead for about a gain of 5 yards. And, Mike, I was wondering how much we'd see these offenses throw the football. I mean, it's been snowing all morning. The snow continues to fall throughout the afternoon. And we've seen a couple of passes that have already, what is the clock? We're 10. We've got 10:21 on the clock. We already have 2 interceptions.
Well, you got quarterbacks who really want to get out here and show what they can do despite any kind of conditions that may kind of interrupt that. And we've also got, as we mentioned at the top, we've got head coaches who have NFL experience. And one of them was a quarterback, the coach for the North, Gus Ornstein, and the coach for the South, Mr. Cody. Well, I'll tell you what, he certainly knows how to take care of things, too. Rich Cody was a member of the Rams when they went and won the Super Bowl against the Titans. So these guys want to show what they can do with their offenses.
Fanthorpe tried to set up the screen, wasn't there, had to scramble out of it, and just a gorgeous breakup out of the defensive secondary by Alex Hill. He lays out and gets a right hand on that football to break up that pass. Nice play there by number 38 in white.
Greg, it's tough when you only throw these guys together for a short time, but the one thing that really played into their favor this week during preparation was they kept everything really centralized. And unlike some of the bowl games where you and I have traveled to in big cities where it's hard to get around, they stayed at the Holiday Inn here in Salem. They practiced in Salem on turf fields at the high school and here at the stadium. Everything was within a couple of miles of each other, so these guys really got a chance to know each other well.
Gus Ornstein keeps that North defense in a 4-3, and there's some defensive pressure. Getting in there is big Gerard Bryant. We've heard a lot about that big defensive lineman, and Fanthorpe had nowhere to go. Nice sack there for the North.
Well, I think, again, what some of the problems are here is the defense knows where it's going, and the offensive lines, we've seen offensive lines on the college level when folks watch Virginia Tech and Virginia and some of these other schools. I mean, really, it does all begin up front, and you can't expect guys to really get too complicated with their pass protection in just a couple of days.
So the South will have to kick it away. The kick is not a good one. It's going to bounce at about the 35-yard line. Takes a south bounce, and the ball is going to be blown dead just across the 25. And let's spot it right there at about the 27. We'll take this break, and we're coming back with more. Stay with us. Scoreless ball game here at Salem Stadium. North nothing, South nothing. North goes back on offense, and Chun has a carry to the left side, maybe a gain of a couple. 8:53 is on the clock, and so far it's been a bit of a defensive ball game. A couple of turnovers here, and nobody has yet to get some points on the board, Mike.
No, we had a couple of great defensive efforts, and that's what we would expect. But I tell you what, one of the knocks on Division III is folks say, well, I don't know the kids. I can't put a name with a face. Can't really figure some things out like that. Well, you check out the quarterback who's in there for the North, and you're going to know that name, Brandon Lujak. That's right. That's the same Lujak with the lines all the way back to Notre Dame. game. Johnny Lujack, the Heisman Trophy winner, is his great uncle. So I tell you what, he's got some good bloodlines going there.
Well, there's another tip ball, and that's Lujack throwing it over to the right flat. And Mike, here's a look at Lujack. How would you like to have a great uncle as a Heisman Trophy winner? That would be pretty good, and so far his season has been a good one.
Oh, I say when you throw over 3,600 yards and 37 TDs, but again, when you throw that much, you got to keep the picks down, and 20 picks is really a high number, and that tells you that offense really worked it through the air throughout the year at Kalamazoo.
Well, you heard Mike say earlier that when you throw all-star squads together, sometimes it's hard to get the offense all in sync, and I think we're seeing a little bit of that this afternoon. Third down and a long 9 here for North. Lujack is your quarterback. Out of the shotgun. Here comes the pressure, and he shakes off the defender. He's going to try to run for a first down. He's going to come up just a little bit short as he's bounced out of bounds there. A nice hustle by Kyle Tuning, the linebacker, comes over and lowers the boom on Lujack.
Oh, and Brandon Hudson put the wood on him as well, and that shows you right there that, Hudson's running off the field, his right shoulder's down. I mean, he got the worst of that, but this is their one chance, Greg. I mean, honestly, when you're a D3 athlete, you only get so many opportunities to showcase your talents, and right now he's trying to show what he can do as a defensive back and maybe get a shot to extend his career. Who knows?
And here's another look, Mike. You can see Lujack, and here comes the big hit you're talking about. Boom! Nice play. So the North has to punt it away. Once again, another poor punt there. And that ball's going to bounce at about the 35, and it's going to be down at the 27-yard line, and that's where the South will take over. Not exactly ideal conditions here in Salem, Mike, but I tell you what, when you're talking about championship-level sporting events, the name Salem, Virginia pops right into your brain.
Well, that's part of the reason, and actually it is the reason that this D3 Senior Classic, which was invented by two men in New York State, ended up in Virginia. They knew if they were going to pull off a Division III event that they needed to bring it somewhere that could support it, and that's why it's ended up here in Salem. You don't host nearly 60 NCAA championships in everything from women's lacrosse to football since 1993 unless you know how to get it done.
7:35 to play here in our first quarter. We get a new quarterback in the ballgame now is Jeff Javorek. He's out of John Carroll University in Ohio. Looks like a little bit of a miscommunication there. Tailback went right, quarterback went left, and that's going to be a loss on the play of about 3 yards there. And once again, call the name of big Gerard Bryant. He's having a nice ball game out of St. Lawrence, out of New York.
I'm going to tell you one thing. If somebody goes right and the other guy goes left, you're not going to have a good situation right there no matter what level you're playing on. And again, I just think it's going to take them a little bit of time. And I think they really were kind of thrown off. You could notice when they walked out here for the warm-ups, the pregame, they just weren't expecting this today. I don't think they were expecting this weather to be quite like this.
2nd down and 13, and that pass is going to come up a little bit short. Once again, the intended receiver there is George Eager, and already he's had 2 catches on the afternoon. And when you're talking about our new quarterback in the ballgame, Jeffrey Javorek, here's a look at his numbers, and he can do it both through the air and on the ground. So to see him run with a football is not unusual.
No, not at all. And, he shows that he can run the ball, especially in close with 6 TDs. I'm sure those with 164 yards came from in close, but you've got to have balance, and we've seen throughout the years, and fans who watch a lot of football know that really the pure drop-back passer in the college level is just not going to get it done anymore.
3rd down and a long 13. Javorek pressured. Rolls to his left. He's going to load it up, throw it to the middle of the field. Oh, and he hit his receiver, Gennaro Zangarai. Hit him right in the hands, Mike. I don't know if the defender going up to try to block that pass blocked his vision a little bit. But I tell you right now, that was a catchable ball for Zangarai. He just didn't pull it in.
Well, no doubt it was. And I'll tell you one thing, Javorek, he would have liked to have the ball caught, but he also would like to have his arms back down where he could protect himself, because Akeem Yakabu, put the wood on him. Watch the end of that right before he gets rid of it, and that ball really had a chance to be taken in for a score. He was behind the defenders, off the deflection, and he could have easily gotten it home if he could have just got it under control.
That's one Zangarai would like to have another shot at. Here's your punt. It's going to be fair caught right at about the 45-yard line. So far we have a defensive struggle. We are moving right along. 6:35 remaining here in our first quarter. Great to have you on a snowy afternoon.
Greg, it is, and I'm sorry to interrupt you there. Excuse me. I really am a little surprised that one of these offenses hasn't been able to break free and maybe just hit a big play, because not necessarily through the air where we've seen him struggle, but these running backs on these teams are really good. And a lot of times you get defenses so aggressive and so intent on making an individual play on this that you can find a huge hole in a running back and take it right to the house.
Quarterback Matt Flynn sets his North offense. Good field position here to start this drive. A little play action. Flynn's going to dump it down, and that's going to be a gain out close to a first down. And that got dumped off to his starting tight end, Big Pedro Sosa. And Sosa knows what to do with the football, and he puts his nose down, and let's see if they move the chains. They do. First down for the North.
Well, Matt Flynn can definitely play. Matt Flynn is one of those guys that knows how to throw up some numbers too. He played for Gettysburg, and he also knows how to throw for lots of yards, Greg. I mean, lots of yards. When you complete 32 of 47 passes in your final game, a career high for completions, only throw one pick doing that, and throw for 7 touchdowns, you're getting it done.
Quick swing pass, and that will not be a lateral. From our perspective, we could see that ball was clearly thrown forward. So that'll be an incomplete pass there for Matt Flynn of the North. And the North now in South Territory for the first time on the afternoon. Incomplete pass will stop the clock. 6:06 remaining. First quarter action. And that's going to bring up second down and a long 10 here. Flynn comes over. He wanted to talk to head coach Gus Ornstein. All right, coach, what do you want to do here? I mean, sometimes you don't have time to implement all your hand signals and everything that you're used to. Sometimes you just give your quarterback a package and tell him, hey, you call the plays out there and get it done. Second down for the North. They're going to run it. Nice hole. And putting his head down and driving ahead. That's Deron Brown out of MIT. He's going to get down across the 40-yard line to about the 39. He's still going to be shy of the first down, so some work to do remaining here for the North squad.
Well, Greg, this guy is quite a story, Deron Brown. I mean, he, as you said, comes from MIT. He is a computer science and engineering major. His team won just one ball game this year, but he did such an outstanding job for much of the season. He led Division III in rushing, and again, that's with his team winning just one ball game. But when you go to MIT, you really don't have to worry about football being your ticket the rest of your life.
I say so. Here's your third down play. It's play action. Flynn, and that ball slips out of his hands. You know, Mike, it just must be tough to grip that football again. It is icy, it is snowy, it is raining, and you could see right there, Flynn went to load it up, and that ball just came out of his hand awkwardly, and you knew from the get-go that pass was going to be offline, and that's indeed what it was.
Now, I really didn't think that the conditions were going to be this much of a factor early, to be honest with you, because as you know, most of the Division III schools are based north of the Mason-Dixon line, and he plays in the Centennial Conference in Gettysburg, up in that Pennsylvania area, and really, you know, they see all kinds of weather throughout the season in practice and on Saturday game day, so I'm just a little bit surprised that they're having that much trouble right now.
North is going to go for it, 4th down and 5, and now I think they want to talk it over a little bit.
Well, this guy, Gus Ornstein, their head coach, I'm just telling you, Greg, this might be the most incredible story of this whole weekend. This guy, Gus Ornstein, in 1998 was the quarterback for Rowan College out of New Jersey when Rowan played Mount Union here in the Stag Bowl in this stadium. But how he got to Rowan is what is absolutely unbelievable. He began his career at Notre Dame when Lou Holtz was there. Lost his medical red shirt there, transferred to Michigan State where he played under Mr. Saban.
Ah,
how about
the
that?
Spartans.
That's right. So when Nick Saban was at Michigan State, he played under him there 2 years. Can you believe that heading into his 5th year as a senior after that red shirt, he gets drafted by the Yankees? And asks Saban, is it okay if I miss spring ball and go do this? And Saban gives him his blessing. But when he gets back, Saban decides, that wasn't such a good idea, buddy. You lost your starting job.
Oh, no.
So Ornstein is so upset he has no choice but to play immediately and transfer to a D3 school. He goes to Rowan and ends up here in the national championship game in 1998. That is a rags to riches, back to rags, or whatever you want to call it story. But, oh, gosh, what a great call.
Your 4th down play, and Joel Rivera almost pulled in a one-handed grab. And, again, the conditions just aren't going to cooperate. So the ball will go over to the south on downs. Here's another look at that, Mike, and you'll see that Rivera, he sticks that right hand out of there, and he almost pulls that in.
He sure did. You know, one other thing, Greg, I want to throw in here about Ornstein, because as if that wasn't enough, and that's a lot of stuff to be able to play for Holtz and Saban and then in a national championship game. He had a shot in the NFL with the Rams, the Chiefs, the Jets, got kicked around a little bit, but he was at the Rams when Trent Green got hurt, and they decided, okay, we got to go with this guy that used to work in a grocery store named Kurt Warner.
How about
and so
that?
he saw that from the start. That had to be pretty neat.
South, first down, and that's Jeff Javorek, your quarterback still. He's going to dump it down to Mays, and Mays is going to get pretty good yardage on a dump down pass to the tailback out to about the 45-yard line. Let's give him 6 yards on the completion. Well, you know, Mike, and that's the neat stories, and that's the thing that, you know, all the background, it makes it so interesting. Flag on the play. Let's see what we have here.
Well, you know, they got to sort that out, but you mentioned it there. That is the thing about the Division III athlete, that I think if folks just take time to get to know these individual players, they're really no different than anyone that makes their mark on the Division I level, other than a couple of ticks of the stopwatch here or there, or a couple of pounds in the weight room. These guys have the passion, they have the desire, and many times we've seen they also have the ability. This looks like a huge penalty right here. Really going to help the South. This could be the first big break of this first quarter.
You're right, and that's going to be marched off against the North, and that ball is going to go down to about the 39-yard line. So great field position now for the South. It's a first down. Clock continues to roll here. We're in the first quarter, under 5 minutes remaining in this first quarter. It's a scoreless ball game, and here comes the South now on first down. Out in the flat, that's Mays again, turns upfield. He's going to be close to a first down there, and out of bounds, stop the clock at 4:43.
That play right there will work. Something like that where you don't have to put too much air under the ball, just a nice pass out to the left flat, really nice touch on the ball, and I think you're going to have a much better chance if the conditions are as bad as they seem to be out there right now as far as the slickness of the ball.
Here's another look, Mike. Javorek, the quarterback, he's just going to dump it off to his tailback there out of the backfield, 44, Desmond Mays, and then Mays is going to get it down, and then that's a first down there for the South. So South continues to roll along. Javorek has the guys in red on the move. Shotgun, and this time they're going to hand it.
They're going to throw it, Greg.
Zangarai loads up. He's got a man down there, and it's gone inside the 5-yard line. Let's spot it at about the 2, and that's going to be red zone for the guys in red. And I tell you, they're knocking on the door right now. That was Zangarai, Mike, loading it up to throw the flanker pass.
And George Eager with the catch. Number 7, I'm pretty sure. I mean, what a great pass on that. Really nice job.
George Eager with 3 catches here on the afternoon for the South squad, and that's a big one because it set them up, and let's see what happens here. Here's another look, Mike, and you can see Zangarai coming around. He's going to load it up.
Just what a great job of setting his feet to make that throw. If he'd have faded back any farther, I think that ball would have been picked, but as it is, they're sitting pretty goal to go.
I formation, a little bit of an option. The pitch off the helmet, and that's a huge loss. The last thing you want when you're down at the 2-yard line is to move in the opposite direction. And that pitch was a little high for Ross Haston out of Austin College. You know, those tailbacks, you know, they're trying to set up their blockers and see the defenders coming at them. They don't want to be looking up in the sky trying to get a pitch.
Well, that drops them all the way back almost to the 10, right on the 9-yard line. And the one thing about that, you know, people get frustrated, fans do, when you pound it inside down there by the goal line. But you see why that is usually the choice for most coaches. When you go wide, unless that handoff's in tight and that running back bounces to the outside, a lot of bad things can happen.
Tom Tassinari coming up to force that for the North. Nice job out there as he drops the tailback for a big loss. Javorek, he wants to throw it, looking into the end zone. Now he's going to scramble. He's got a man, but he short hops it.
Man, he had 3 guys open in the end zone, it looked like at one point, especially 2 at the end, and the tight end was wide open.
He went for Harry Von Kahn, and that ball just bounced right in front of the receiver. And again, I'm going to cut these quarterbacks a little bit of slack. I don't know if at home you can see exactly just kind of how icy, and if you're a quarterback now, it's the combination of the football's wet, it's snowing and icing on me, my hands are wet, my hands are cold, so I can't get the grip I need. Nothing nothing feels right, but these are the conditions you have to play through, obviously, and you people well know that when you're talking football. 3rd down and 9. It was 1st and goal from the 2. And now it's going to be 3rd and goal. And here comes Javorek. He might have running room. He's going to put his head to the ball.
He fumbled it in the end zone.
He fumbles into the end zone. Oh, Mike, did he cross the plane, or was that ball out before he got to the goal line? The officials say fumble, and they're going to give it to the North.
Oh, my goodness. The 3rd turnover of the first quarter. And I'm going to tell you, the thing about it is we'll get the opportunity, and the fans at home will, to take a look at this, but the referees won't. No instant replay here today. And
it was out.
Clearly out by about the 1 or 2. Didn't tuck it away, still holding as if he was going to pass it, and unfortunately that's going to cost him. That was the best scoring opportunity for either team so far, and as it is, the 3rd turnover.
Unbelievable. So far, nobody on our scoreboard, and our first quarter is winding down. 2:53 remaining here in the first period, and I thought the South was going to get it done, at least come out of there with a field goal, but another turnover, and that gives the ball back over to the North. Going to be a running play, and South is there on defense. Deron Brown pretty much nowhere to go as they try the left side. Nothing happening. Good defense, Mike, stepping up. Along that defensive line, you're looking at James Woodley, big Jacob Bloomhuff, and on the tackle there, 99, Brandon Drumgoole. And those big guys up front. And I tell you, Brandon Drumgoole, take a look at that rascal.
Oh,
like
he
6'7"?
is no joke. You know, he can dunk. That's what I'm telling you right now. If he gets one and takes it in, he's going over the crossbar with a slam. 6'7", about 250. He's got a chance to fill out and be quite the player.
2nd down and 11. Here comes Drumgoole off the right side. The ball's tipped, and it's going to be incomplete. Going up with one hand for the North, that was Cody Elliott.
Well, let me just tell you, unless you're a defensive back, you better be going up with 2 hands to catch anything today, because it's just not the day to be Randy Moss out there pulling in a one-hand catch. You got to get both hands on it and then some. We've seen a couple balls deflected on the first pick of the day, and it's just tough to hold on to the ball. So right now, it puts him in another tough 3rd down situation. But look, one hand going up. I know he's trying to make a play, but, you know, you got to get up there. Right now, Greg, you got to agree, the D-line's just teeing up, man. They're just taking straight shots to the quarterback.
Yeah, Lou Jack got rid of that in a hurry because he was getting some pressure. Here's a deep ball, left sideline, and that ball was, even if it's caught, the receiver was clearly out of bounds. Nice defense over there on the play is Brandon Hudson providing the coverage, so that's going to force the North to have to punt that ball back over to the South.
I like the throw. I don't think the throw was that bad as far as the touch on it. Again, you just have to give your receiver a little room on the sideline to make a play, and he may have been able to go up and get it, but as you said, he'd have been out of bounds anyway. Great coverage on that play.
So the South with an opportunity to get this football back in a great field position. South has been able to move the ball, but they turn it over. They've already had an interception and a fumble into the end zone. And here's your punt. It's going to drive the return man back to about his 40-yard line. Ball's going to bounce and settle down, and the South will take over right there at about the 40-yard line for this next possession. 42 yards on the punt, not bad.
No, that's one of the better kicks we've seen today, and I think we're going to have a chance right now to see if the North can settle down a little bit, use some of that advantage they've had so far on the defensive side, and really get settled and keep the South from any kind of big plays like that before. You know, the North, most people thought on paper had the talent advantage in this game, but so far the South has had the bigger plays.
No points on the scoreboard, but you can see there the South losing the turnover battle. They've turned it over twice. The North has committed 1 turnover. Here comes the South. Nice little delay give. Running room straight ahead out to about midfield. Good job by Ross Hanston. He's the ball carrier.
Well, he's all the way out of Austin College in Texas. Nice run by him up the middle. That might be, as we said, the way to really exploit a defense here, especially with the slick ball and everyone really just trying to tee off on the quarterback right now. There really isn't a whole lot of people, as you like to call it, Greg, really being patient and staying in their lanes right now. They're just kind of going after it.
Quarterback Aaron Fanthorpe now, I formation. He's got Mays at the fullback. He's going to give it to his tailback, looking for 1st down yardage. I think they got it.
Oh, yes.
Powering straight ahead is the South, and that's going to move the chains. Ball's going to be spotted down at the 46-yard line. So, Mike, here comes the South again. They've been able to take it up and down the field, but not able to punch it into the end zone or cash it in for points yet.
Well, we gave that big, long dissertation, that story that was almost 2 really good to believe about the quarterback of the North, Gus Ornstein. But I'm going to tell you, the coach over on the South, Rich Cody, we told folks that he played in the NFL and played for the Rams and won a Super Bowl. I know he can appreciate what Aaron Fanthorpe did this year because he himself was a defensive back at Texas A&M. And, Greg, you can appreciate this. He walked on at Texas A&M and made it to the NFL.
Fanthorpe on first down. He's going to load it up. He's throwing it down the middle of the field. The ball's underthrown. Wow, he had his favorite target. George Eager was wide open behind the defenders, but the ball hangs up, and that's going to be an incompletion. Man, if Fanthorpe would have put just a little more mustard on that one, he would have been in the end zone. Here's another look, Mike.
Yeah, and Greg, you see this a lot. You know, they talk about throwing to the back shoulder. Well, this is completely different, but it looked like he underthrew the ball so his receiver could come back and make a play. The problem was when he did, he ran right into one of the defensive backs that threw him off course. But as you saw in the replay, that ball was wobbling. That was not one that was underthrown by any means.
Second down and a long 10. There's one Fanthorpe would like to have back. Big guy laid it out there, just not enough air under it. Shotgun formation. They're going to let him load it up again. He's trying to dump it down the screen. And a nice job once again. We've called this name 4 times. Gerard Bryant, the big defensive lineman out of St. Lawrence in New York. He had all kind of pressure in Fanthorpe's face and just really no chance for that play to develop as the defensive linemen did their job, stayed at home, read the tailback. They knew it was coming.
I don't think there's any doubt that you've seen defense dominate this game so far. Now, that doesn't mean that the offenses in many ways haven't helped them out a lot. With the 3 turnovers, especially the one that the South had on its last possession, and we've seen several of these, 3rd and long, and they're in a position right now, Greg, where I think even if they don't get it, they're going to have to punt it. Could be the final play of the first quarter.
Trips right, 3 receivers to the right side. He's going to be hit and dropped. Fanthorpe on 3rd and 10. Coming through there is Big Brian Wiley. And Big Brian Wiley out of Cortland State in New York. He's feeling that he knows he turned in a nice play.
Greg, Brian Wiley is playing on the same D-line today with Joe Getz. They compete against each other as hated rivals at Ithaca and Cortland State, both in the same town in New York State. And for them to be playing side by side and creating havoc out here, that's a moment for the ages right there.
All right, that wraps up the first quarter. We'll take this break, and we come back. We'll get your second quarter underway. No score in the Senior Classic at Salem, Virginia. It's the South nothing and the North nothing. Second quarter action ready to get it underway here at Salem Stadium. This is the Division III Senior Classic. Along with Mike Stevens, I'm Greg Roberts. Great to have you with us on a snowy afternoon in Southwest Virginia. No score in our ball game. South nothing and North nothing. And here's the South now. 4th and 15, and they're going to open up this second quarter by punting it back to the North. There's a nice kick. Ball's going to drop down at about the 5-yard line, and it's fielded there by Scott Cree. And Cree has all kind of red jerseys all over him. He may have thought about letting that one drop, Mike. I tell you, a lot of coaches will tell you, if you're stand on the 10, and if it's over your head, let it go.
Well, I think what you just saw right there is the South has not only had the better of the first quarter, in my opinion, they've also flipped the field now, where a lot of this game has been played in the very middle of the field. It's now got the North backed up, forced to make a play. We'll see if they try to go to the running game, try to maybe get themselves out of trouble first, and then try to air it out a little bit. The passing has not been what we thought, and we think the weather conditions certainly have a lot to do with that.
That was a 45-yard punt. Scott Cree with 0 yards on the return. Some would call it an ill-advised return, and now the North, they're deep in a hole here, and here comes their tailback, their talented tailback, trying to power it out of there. Jared Chung puts his head down across the right side, but yards are going to be tough to come by here, Mike. This is where you kind of, the defense, they're going to jam it up in the box, and they know you want to run it, so this is where you really need to hit them with a nice pass. We'll see what the North can draw up over there in the snow. Not in the dirt here today. You're drawing up plays in the snow.
Well, no doubt about that. I'd like to see Gus Ornstein here come out and just a little bit of riverboat gambler in him. See if he just, little play action, little fake right up the middle, and then hit somebody, maybe a tight end, wide receiver out there, and just break off a big play. Catch him off guard here.
Second down and 8. That ball spotted down at the 9-yard line for the North. 2 receivers up top, and let's see, they're going to try to power it again. Quarterback's going to keep it. Nice call here. Fighting for yardage out near the 15. It's going to be short of the first down, but that